Hi, hello, I'm Sam Harrison. I read, review and discuss fantasy and science fiction books. Today, it is the weekly update for Friday, the 21st of June. So, I don't know if you, in case you guys haven't been paying attention, June has been a bit of a rough one, reading-wise. Because of the new baby, so usually what I tend to do is read from before baby. I would read from 8 o'clock at night to 11ish, and then I would have half an hour of cleaning up, sorting out, doing some jobs in the house, and then go to bed about between 11:30 and 12 really. But what's happened is that I'm going to bed earlier because you need more sleep when you have a new baby, so tending to stop my evening activities at around 10, so that's giving me an hour and a half a day to do my reading. So, and unfortunately, aside from that, because I've been a little bit more tired, I have just kind of struggled to get the reading time in, because I will sometimes get down from putting my son to bed, and my wife will be looking after my daughter, so I'll have a couple of hours to read. I'll sit down, I'll open my book, and it'll start sending me to sleep, even though the book is good. I'm reading currently still The Will of the Many by James Islington. Every time I open it and I read it, I'm having a good time. I am at chapter XLII. My Latin teacher, Mr. Fance, will be very upset with me if he's still alive. He might not be alive, actually. It's been a long time since I was in school. And he was very old. So he will be very upset with me that I don't know what XLII is. But that's where I am. I have actually been reading mostly from my Kindle version while holding the baby. So this book actually has barely been touched, despite me really wanting to read it physically. Just haven't had the attention for it. I am really enjoying it. My plan is to finish it this weekend so that I can review it for you guys next week. I do have already 2 videos planned for next week. I have two videos planned. On top of that would be Will of the Many review. On top of that will be more wandering in content. I'm actually a lot of the reading time I've had this week has been on the Wandering In, which I have almost finished book 1. When I finish book 1, I'm also going to record a review for it, even though I've been kind of discussing it chapter by chapter, my thoughts on what's going on. I will be doing a full volume 1 review. So look forward to that. I'll probably record it as soon as I finish volume 1, but I'm still planning on releasing the volume 1 videos over time, over the coming weeks. So you may see that. You may have to wait to see how I feel about it, even though I will finish it probably early next week. After I finish The Will of the Many, as I've said many times before, I'll be reading Tales of the Sunny Volume 2. That's been my plan for forever. Want to get back into some Sun Eater, and I need a short sci-fi thing after The Will of the Many, because after I read Tales of the Sun Eater Volume 2, I'm going to be reading SPFBO books. So my intention is to read all of the first chapters of all 6 books and do a video, which is ranking the first chapters, and then I'll basically read the ones that I'm the most interested in. I want to try and get 20 to 25% in to each of them to make sure that I either know that I want to finish them or I know that I want to DNF them, because I only have to fully finish and read one. I have to fully finish, read and review the best one of the bunch. But I feel like every book deserves its fair shake, so I want to try and read about a quarter of each one. While we're talking about giving things their fair shake, I want to talk about something that I got in the post, which is the brand new Boox Onyx Onyx Boox Go color 7, Go 7 color. Not sure exactly how you say it or what it's called. So really excited to receive this. I've been reading on this a lot this week, and I will have a initial impressions and a long-term review recorded for you guys. The initial impressions probably sometime in July. I'm losing a year there. Sometime in July. I know it seems like I buy a lot of e-readers. This one I think is probably going to end up being my like main number one e-reader, and I'll tell you the reasons why. It's because I can access every single ebook store using this. I can read DRM free ebooks. I can use the Kindle app. It has Android, so I can even use the Shonen Jump app to read manga. I have not tried that yet. I've just been reading The Will of the Many on this, but I am probably going to get a Shonen Jump subscription and start reading that eventually. Maybe I'll even read some comics on it because it is color, so I could read regular American comics and not lose too much. Although I do prefer to read American comics on like a big glossy screen rather than a small matte screen like this one. Really loving it so far. I mean, the colors are quite cool. It's very interesting because like when you have an e-reader, e-readers aren't color, so you're like, every time I look at it I'm like, oh, there's color on that. Like, it's just a surprise, which is weird. The colors are quite muted, which is again another reason why I probably wouldn't want to read comics on it, because the color choices and the brightness and the vibrancy of comics is actually like its own art form. So I would probably basically if you look at like every review of this, the thumbnails are all like comic panels, and like I don't know why. If you're a big comic fan, I think that you kind of need that glossy, vibrant screen to read comics on, or a physical comic. Maybe some older stuff where it was more of like a matte texture on the pages and things like that. But for me, every comic I read, I kind of want to read on my tablet. So yeah, roundabout way of saying this is a really interesting device so far. It's nice and snappy and fast and fun to use. I have installed the Everand and the Kobo Unlimited, whatever it's called, Kobo Plus apps, and Google Play Books. I am probably also going to get some books from Humble Bundle at some point, because I think that the Humble Bundle offers are fantastic. They did that Malazan one last year, which I probably would have bought if I'd had something like this, where I had like a more convenient way to read DRM-free books. But also, I do own every single Malazan book, which I've never paid more than 99p for them. I own every single Malazan book on Kindle, apart from The Crippled God, because it has never been on a 99p sale. However, yeah, you know what we're talking about. So yeah, really enjoying this device so far. It's basically like the Kindle Oasis, but the back is like a textured plastic. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can see on the camera. So the back is like a textured plastic, which is so much more comfortable to hold than the Kindle Oasis's metal back was. The only issue is it does get finger grease on it, so that's not ideal. The front screen is a lovely glass. The buttons are like a really nice, they feel like metal, whether they are or not. My only annoyance with this is how long it takes to turn on. So because it's an Android device, not an e-reader, it turns itself off after like 15 minutes of being on sleep, which is good because it's preserving the battery, and an Android device's battery is going to be like, at most, we're talking like 12, 15, 20 hours, whereas this obviously is trying to be an e-reader, so it's looking at being like weeks worth of battery, not days. Or hours. So it turns itself off automatically when you've left it on standby for like 15 minutes. You can change that time frame, and I may do that because I'm not bothered about charging my device a lot. But basically when I go back to it to turn it on, I sometimes have to wait like a minute before I can be reading again. And that is like an actual, like, that kills the momentum of having time to read, if that makes sense. Like, if I've got a few seconds, I'm like, oh, I'll pick up the e-reader, and I start to read. I'm like, oh, I'll go to read, and within the like minute or so it takes to turn on, I have been like distracted by something else. And that's probably a facet of 2024 society where we have all these distractions. This has kind of ended up being my first impressions for the Onyx Boox Go Color 7, but that's kind of been the majority of my reading time this week, so it's kind of been on my mind. I'm hoping to finish Will of the Many this weekend. I have a big old shopping trip on Sunday where I'll be doing the family weekly food shop, and during those family weekly food shops I always listen to whatever my latest audiobook is, so that will be a big chunk of audiobook time, and I'm hoping I'll get some time to read this evening as well. So yeah, hopefully I'll finish the Will of the Many. I think the Kindle says I have like 6 or 7 hours left, so I think I can get 6 or 7 hours of reading time between now and Monday. The one other thing that I did want to bring up as well is that when I've been struggling to read, I've actually been picking up a game. So I have been playing Marvel's Midnight Suns. I know you guys know that I enjoy superhero stuff, I enjoy Marvel stuff, and Midnight Suns is kind of like it's almost like an urban fantasy story world in Marvel. The game Midnight Suns is not exactly urban fantasy. It's still fantasy. Like, the main villain is like an ancient demon goddess, and like the characters are using a lot of magic. But it's kind of like, it's got like Iron Man in it and stuff. So really enjoying that one so far. I think I've managed to put like 5 hours in, because basically I'll sit down to read, be like, oh, I'm falling asleep, I can't read anymore, and then just go sit at my desk and play like an hour of Midnight Suns. So yeah, been really enjoying that. I'm going to roll it back. I say I'm going to. My friend Timothy Burbidge, who I've tagged on the channel a few times before, mentioned on Andrew Watson's Discord that instead of sitting down and binge reading, which has always been my philosophy, so I usually won't do any reading during the day, I will sit down at 8 o'clock when my son's in bed and just read for 2 hours solid. Used to be like 3 hours almost. And then I would have little breaks in between, but I would mostly just be sitting down and reading all evening. But he has said that the way that he gets his reading time in is that he just makes sure to read 20 or 30 minutes every few hours. And I think that will work much, much better for me. So I'm going to be trialing that for foreseeable future and hoping to make some decent progress. So thanks very much, Timothy. I will tag his channel in the comments down below, because it's a great channel, and he deserves more subscribers and viewers. But speaking of deserving more subscribers and viewers, if you like this video, give it a like. If you want to chat with me about any of the books, or if you want to ask any questions about the Go Color 7, Go 7 Color, it's one of those ways around. If you want to ask any questions about it, please do in the comments down below. I will do an initial impressions once I have read a full book on it, which is what I like to do. And then there'll also be like a 4-month impressions. I may end up selling my Paperwhite and my basic Kindle to just keep this one, because this one does what they do and more, so it kind of doesn't make sense to get rid of this one and keep one of the Kindles, but anyway, we're talking about this again. So yeah, if you've got comments, you've got questions, pop them down in the chat, in the comments down below. If you want to talk to me about the books that I'm reading, or talk to me about the books that are coming up, that'd be cool. If you haven't watched any of my Wandering In stuff, I would really recommend that you read along with me. I've done a like read along reaction for every single chapter. The early shorter chapters I've grouped multiple into one video, but since they're all starting to be like 10,000 words, I have expanded, and now we just do one chapter a video. So yeah, keep an eye. If you haven't watched any of that, I would really recommend it. It's a fantastic book, and you can read it completely for free online and you can literally just read a chapter, watch the video, read a chapter, watch the video, whenever you like. It's great. I think it's a really, really good way to read the series. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't. We're closing in on 700 subscribers, which is pretty cool. I never thought I would get this far. It's slowed down a lot recently, but I still really never thought I'd get more than 500. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. If you are watching, I mean, you must be if you're seeing this. And I will speak to you on Monday. Goodbye.